Make sure my volume is up. Good afternoon. It is what? 5 o'clock p.m. And this is Key with Cruise with Key. Excuse me. Happy February. Happy Black History Month. Happy Love Month because Valentine's Day is the 14th. And if you believe in Cupid, then hey, have at it. Birthdays. There are some birthdays that happened this week. Shout out to my good girlfriend Tasha and a cool homie of mine, Mike B. And I believe Broski Mo got a birthday Sunday, I think. Yeah, so happy birthdays to all the first week of February. Um yeah, last week I talked to y'all and I talked about how 2025 has been thus far, and I said we all gonna be all right. And I said that I was gonna get into, back to, just unleashing um some, trauma as I was growing up so that I can evolve into the woman I know that I was called to be, and the woman that I know that I am, um, and the woman that I want to get better as. So last time I think I talked about ugh, being with my cousin yet again. And I titled this particular session today, I titled it Adaptation for a Reason, because that's one of the words that came to my mind when I was thinking about what do I want to talk about today. Well, I knew what I was going to talk about because I made sure I said that last week. But what I did not know is like, what did I want to title it? I try my best to be very intentional of how I title these, not only just to grab people attention, but to make sure that I stay on topic, because clearly this is something that I enjoy doing. And I think I enjoy it so much because I don't have an issue talking to myself. I love myself so much that this is easy for me. What's not easy is when I go into details about certain things that I've experienced. But adaptation is what I know that I am. And I learned that at a very, very, very early age. And if you've been following me for quite some time, you know that I've bounced around a lot since I was born, pretty much. Um, and this particular time that I was bounced around, I was what? Told you I was 16. I went into a military program. Maybe like a week later, I turned 17. This was July 97. And I was living with my cousin. Remember, I told y'all she raised me on and off. And graduated from the military program. It was like a military GED program. And no, I did not get my GED. The crazy part about it is that I graduated from the program with honors. I had like a $500 what you call them thingies? I can't think of it, but that was back in the day. I had a lot of patches for my uniform, and I excelled in everything but education because the day that it was time to take my GED, I just was not focused at all. I don't know where I do know where my mind was, but it wasn't on that task. Anyway, um, I did graduate from the program and ended up, of course, still living with my cousin. And then, some way, somehow, there's an argument. And told you, y'all know I've always been sarcastic. I've always had a smart mouth. I don't know where it come from, but I've been told that, you've had a smart mouth when you was little. You so sarcastic. And certain gifts that God give us, they're not going to ever go away. Half the time, I don't even know I'm being sarcastic. Because I'm just really being honest, and honesty sometimes deserve a filter, and that's something that I'm still working on, because I feel like too much filter, I'm gonna start to feel fake. So adaptation, adaptation, adaptation. Gotta learn to adapt. So um I'm there, and there's an argument that happens. And of course it's just family. So me and my cousin got into it, who I called Ma, and then of course her daughter um got into it, and we almost like physically fought on the porch. I will never forget it, because I started crying. That's how angry I was. I'm like, out of everything that y'all know that I've gone through, now you want to wreck? Like, you want to fight me for real? Like, it had nothing to do with, well, oh, you must be scared because she older. I'm one of them people. I don't give a bleep how big you are. Like, I think that that's the problem with people. They think that because of your size, that you are supposed to back down. No, ma'am, no, sir. Um, in this particular moment, I just did not fathom physically fighting um my cousin. Now, and I told y'all that me and one of my sisters, my youngest sister, we got in a physical altercation in school one time, and to this day that still bothers me. It hurts that that's what we went through, and people saw it. And so for this, I'm just like, nah, like, I'm not about to fight family yet again. You know what I mean? Like, I've gone through too much physical abuse for me to have to physically have a physical altercation with my family, a place that's supposed to be my safe haven, a place where I'm supposed to feel protected and secure. That's why I'm here, because I ran away from the other places because I was not safe and secure, and because I was being physically abused. So it was like, I think that oftentimes when things happen, people are not thinking about the person that they're having this um situation with. Now, every action causes a reaction. And though we have control out over our reactions, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you're not, especially when you're not mentally aware of what your action can possibly, do, or what have you. So, um, I was pissed, and so grabbed all my things. Well, I called my girlfriend at the time, and I hit her up. Who remember I told y'all I used to live with her and her folks, but because I was watered the state and her parents wasn't open to becoming foster parents, I had to go live back with my cousin. That was November '95. So fast forward to August of '97. Um, and so I called them, told them what's going on. Well, of course, you could come stay here. And I'm like, awesome. So I go there, have pack all my stuff, and I'm gone. And of course, that didn't last but for so long, because again, you cannot leave your guardianship when you are a ward of the court. Adaptation. It is very, very, very hard to keep adapting to all of these different environments. And it's extremely hard to adapt in an environment where you're not comfortable. And I just, in this moment, I was no, and it's so weird. Oh my gosh. This is why I got to get this stuff out. It's weird to know that I went back to this place and I mentally created this adapting mindset to go live in the same household where I got, that wasn't the place where I got molested at, but it was the same person. And the moment that I'm about to get in a physical altercation, I was like, I gotta go. It was like, I gotta go. And it was like, well, why did you go back? Like, you're getting, that's just another form of abuse, kid. That's just it. But and I think that that's why I was like, I just gotta go, because I just don't feel safe in my own home with my own people. I felt more safe in somebody else's household. And that wasn't the best of the best, because all that my friend at the time, she was going through mentally, it affected our relationship and some of the things that transpired, while I stayed there. But the social worker is like, yeah, it's time for you to go. You gotta leave. You can't stay here. Grab your things. I swear I need an endorsement with like hefty. So I grabbed all my things and had to go. And this was a huge eye opener for the first time as a teenager. Told y'all all about my childhood, but teenage, like that adolescent, that was like a whole chapter, if you will, a whole new world, a whole new, new fantastic point of view. No, it was not. um, it's absolutely easier to place a young child more than it is a adolescent. And when you can hear on the other end their response when the social worker tell them your age, and mentally you're just all over the place anyway, and now you're 17 and you like, I have to adapt to this new reality. That it was easier because you was a cute little girl with a heck of a story, but you being a cute little adolescent, that's not gonna work. It's like you go to a pound and nobody is checking for the dog. They looking for the puppy. Nobody's looking for the cat. They looking for the kitten. You know, and that was tough, because in this moment I'm like, well, I don't have a home. Nobody. It was just a lot. So needless to say, here comes Imani House. And that was a group home ran by Sasha Bruce. And mm, mm. The definition for adaptation, it says, what is the simple definition for adaptation? And it says something produced to adjust to something produced to adjust to different conditions or uses, or to meet different situations. And one of my friends, one of my friends, we was just laughing at it recently about how I'm always wanting to know the reason why of things, and I'm always trying to understand something, because I just don't be getting things. And it's because all my life, all I knew was to just adapt when I didn't even have a choice. Um, and all I knew was in every situation it's gonna be different. Living in a foster home and living in a group home, two completely total different environments, if you will. Oh, excuse me for being emotional. This is another reason why I created Cruise with Key, you guys, because I have so many stories. It's not even stories. I have so much that I've gone through that I've never like talked about. And as I'm writing my story, it became really hard to write it down if I never talked about it. And I know I always encourage y'all to journal. Please keep journaling. But I also tell y'all, get a therapist too, because you can write all day long. But while you writing and weeping, you need to communicate, talk to somebody, because if you don't, you can be a faucet. Okay. But I'm not saying, and y'all know I still go to therapy. So I don't know when I'm not going to be a faucet. So just excuse me. But it's two total different environments. A foster home is more like it says a home. You're in there. I don't even know the percentage. You have a mother and a father, um, and there's other kids. So it's like a home environment where you feel like you're in a two-parent household and everything is fine, I guess. And then a group home, it's way more structured, like the military program that I was in. Their military program, there was a time to wake up, there was a time to shower, there was a time to do laundry, there was a time to eat, there was a time to go to school, there was a time to work out, there was a time to be, it was just everything was time, 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 time. And you could not be late. Like you could not. And that's kind of sort of how the group home was. Like there was a time, there was a time to eat. When you go to school, the first thing that you do when you go to school, you got to go to the guidance office because you have to show proof that you went to school. There's a cook, so there's a cook, there's a menu, just like in the mess hall at the military program. You don't get to, when the mess hall, you get to pick what you want on your thing, but it wasn't many options. Versus a group home, um, there's no options. It's not a buffet. It's it's mm, it's a place where you have to follow your rules, and they tell you what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat, and how your weekend is going to look. Depending on your behavior, you get a pass, um, or you'll be in a group home for the weekend. If you get a pass, you might get a day pass, or you might get a weekend pass. Yeah, I know I never had a weekend pass because where I'm going for the weekend. Where am I going for the weekend? I ain't going nowhere for the weekend. Um, and this one, it was I think it was 6 to 8 girls. I want to say six of us. It wasn't like a huge group home, like one of those orphanage or something like that. But it's bunk bed situation. It's like I think one bathroom. um you got counselors that's on different shifts. They definitely write you up. If you don't make sure you monitor all your things will get stolen. There are times you definitely going to argue, you're definitely going to fight. It's just like a madhouse at times because you got different women, different personalities, well, teenagers coming in and out, because this was a 45-day program. I went there October 97. I left March 98. Now you do the math. I've told y'all 1,000 times I'm horrible in math. So I'm not about to do no counting no days, okay? You do the math. You know I was there longer than 45 days. And I had to really adapt to that environment because I've never, and it's crazy because God is God has a sense of humor. I'm telling you, read your Bible, you'll be amazed how many times you laugh while you're reading. Um, but it's crazy because the military program, like, I mean, I've been to camp and stuff, so it wasn't unusual, to be around a bunch of girls or whatever. But oh, when you take a shower, oh, it's just like prison. Ain't no separate showers. All y'all in there. But each, you got a shower head to yourself. But you know what I mean? Like that was a ooh. Some people quit when they found that out, or they left. We ain't doing this. Girl, anybody looking at you? We all got the same thing. Then they may be different shapes, size, and colors. But we all got the same thing. But again, that's another form of adapting. As soon as I went to the military program, the first thing they do is tell you drop and give 10 push-ups. I ain't never did a push-up a day in my life. But by the time I left that program, there was not no female that can do more push-ups than me. I wish I could get back to that, but we're gonna back up out of that. Um, so the group home, it was interesting. It was a lot, especially going to school, because once people at school found out, um people start talking about you. People think that you are this runaway. People think that you are dirty. People just think that people think that you don't have no parents, you don't have nobody that love you, you strung out on something. It's never nothing positive when people find out you live in a group home. And that was a lot to take in. See, living in foster care, nobody knew. Cause I called everybody aunt, aunt this, aunt that, aunt that. When I lived in the city, and I live with these older people, I call them grandma and granddad. But any female, it was auntie. As I got older, I don't remember what I called the first two places that I lived in, especially with having some Philippines on the second home, Mr. and Mrs. Witchcom. Like they were from the Philippines. I don't know what we call them. I have no idea, but living in a group home, it was nothing positive. Everybody just think negative, especially when they hear Sasha Bruce. It's just they think that you're a product of your environment, and little did they know that I had to adapt to an unknown environment because there was no other place for me to go. I had no choice. Then there was a time where I did go to Charlottesville, Virginia. That's where pretty much all my family at. And I went to go visit my cousin to see if I can stay with her. And we both knew that was not going to. I'm a city girl. Charlottesville was not going to work for me. And at that time, I didn't think that, I was going to go in a group home. I'm thinking, well, I'm not, me and her, we just didn't agree for whatever reason. I think for me, it was, I just didn't want to do the country. I think maybe for her, because she had already had my sister and she thought that them two together might not be a good idea. I don't know. And sometimes I think, well, what if I did stay down there and it was me and my sister? Who knows? But I try my best not to dwell on the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Like, no. Um, but that again was another form of adapting, and all I know is to adapt in any environment. And I think that's why I can be one of the most understanding people that I know. I think that that's why I can be one of the most considerate people that I know. Um, I think that that's why I can be one of the most thoughtful persons that I know, because I know the struggle of having to adapt in uncomfortable environments. I know the struggle of adapting to unknown environments. Um, I know the struggle of adapting without having a voice. Um, I know the struggle of adapting in silence. Um, and I know that one of the reasons why I still suffer from rejection is because I've always had to adapt somewhere, and having to adapt and adjust all my life to adapt and adjust in somebody else's life and show all of me, and for it to not be handled with care. For me, I'm going to feel abandoned and rejected because I've done my part, and you created this space and it wasn't real. Um That's for men and women, family, friends, supervisor, companionship. There's no gender, there's no ship that is exempt from what I just tried to explain, how I have a tendency, to feel. Um, but that's that. I'm gonna leave this right here. Um, there's so much more that come with Imani House. And though it was less than a year, you'll be amazed of what had taken place during that time. Um, I'm trying to tell y'all, it doesn't matter what it looks like, come what may. With all that's happening with the orange Cheeto guy, we got 4 more years to go, and we have to learn to adapt and make some adjustments that benefit us. And thank you, Jesus. That's something that I had to learn, that you don't have no control over some of your um environments, but you have control on how you choose to adjust to make it work for you so that you're comfortable. Because this is what it is for right now. What you gonna do? Stay right here and dwell in it, or are you gonna stay right here and say, this is what it is, and this is what um I'm going to do? Write a plan and then execute that thing. And I knew that in that moment, in that house, certain certain things about me had to change. Um, and one of them was absolutely adaptation. And I know that you would think that, well, you ain't learned how to adapt to audio. Yeah, I learned to adapt in all those, but this again was completely different. This was completely different. Completely different. Ain't no real freedom in there. Believe it or not, the military program, I had more freedom there than I did in Imani House. Yeah. But it's all good. I went from living in Imani House to owning my own house. Now clock that T. Ain't that what they be saying? Ooh. Happy Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so very much for cruising with Key. Um uh Told y'all every week, I'm going to try my best to come on here and unpack some trauma so that I can keep shooting for freedom. Keep shooting for freedom, okay? That's the goal. The goal is to continue to shoot for freedom and evolution, okay? All right. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for cruising with Key. Thank you for all those that popped in and viewed. I can't stress this enough. When you view, I don't know that you're viewing. Even when you view days from now, I don't know that you're viewing. If you liked it, I don't know that you liked it. So if you're here to just spectate, thank you for being here, because I don't know that you're here. Okay. I do have a comment. Hi, Kia. How are you? Hi, Yannick. Oh my gosh. I didn't know you were following me. Hi, Yannick. Oh my gosh. Miss you. Love you. Oh my gosh. Hi, Yannick. I am amazing. I am amazing. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I hope that all is great on your end, and that you are amazing as well. Mwah. Um, you write a comment while I'm live, I'm gonna shout you out. I mean, I ain't gonna ignore you. That's what I'm not gonna do. All right. And don't do too much. Watch the Super Bowl and have a good time. I'm going to a Super Bowl party, seeing some friends, Super Bowl party, seeing some friends. I don't know about y'all, but I love hooking up with my friends because we be having a good time. And I love it. I be having a good time. That's all I want to do. Y'all know I tell y'all that all the time. All I want to do is have a good time. To know me is to know I want to have a good time. I don't want to argue. I don't want beef. We could joke. We could go back and forth. We could do a little slap boxing. We can even do some tea and some crumpets. No, I'm not doing nuggets and caviar. We ain't doing all that. But I like to have a good time. Okay. So yeah, have a good time. And I will see you next week. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, share. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you. I appreciate you. Love you. Mean it.